जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदनंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा जयो राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Gandharvika Giridhari Gaura Hari. Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Anantadev Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Anantadev. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Again, a warm welcome for this morning's Bhagavatam class, specifically for Radha Gopinath Circle. Before I even start any further, I would like to thank our leader Mathurapati Madhusudan Das for giving all of us to an opportunity to purify ourselves by sharing a few lines from the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Amala Purana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devin Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Now reading from Canto 1, Chapter 6, title Conversation between Narada and Vyasadeva. We are in the last verse, 38th verse. Can someone repeat after me?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful DP. Aho Devas Rishi Dhanyo Yam.
Aho Devarshir Dhanyo Yam.
Yat Kirtim Saranga Dhanvanaha.
Yat Kirtim Sarang Dhanvanaha.
Gayan Madhyam Idam Tantriya.
Gayan Madhya Nidam Tantriya.
Ramayati Aturam Jagat.
Ramyati Yaturam Jagat.
Thank you, Mataji. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace C.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. All the glory and success to Sri Narada Muni, because he glorifies the activity of personality of Godhead, and so doing himself takes pleasure and also enlivens all distressed souls of the universe. Purport. It's a very small one, beautiful, very simply, nicely put by Prabhupada. Sri Narada Muni plays on his instrument to glorify the transcendental activities of the Lord and to give relief to all miserable living entities of the universe. No one is happy here within this universe, and what is felt as happiness is Maya's illusion. The illusionary energy of the Lord is so strong that even a hog lives in the filthy stools feels happy. No one can be truly happy within this material world. Srila Narada Muni, in order to enlighten the miserable inhabitants, wanders everywhere. Look at this mission statement he carries. His mission is to get them back home, back to Godhead. That is the mission of all genuine devotees of the Lord, following the footsteps of the great sages. Thank you. Before I continue, let me say my prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjalashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Pancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evata Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are on the last verse in this wonderful chapter entitled Conversation between Narada and Vyasadeva. There were many subsections in our GPS. The last one was between 34 to 38, in which 35 to 36 also there was another group, but these were all most suitable boat to cross the material world, constant chanting of the Lord's activity, heading given, and the last one was no satisfaction by any other path other than except bhakti. So we are in the last verse. So the entire chapter was so sweet. It went fast. We had many number of devotees, all our seniors from Radha Gopinath Circle sharing such wonderful points. Yesterday we also had the previous shloka sharing of Ujjwal Prabhu shared a very few points, nice points. Summarized it by saying we must read Srila Prabhupada books, sing bhajans and take bhakti seriously. And even though we are performing devotional service, and that service is actually free. That was a very nice point. Where we don't charge anything for association, we don't charge for infrastructure, and we also give prasadam. Freedom is a key aspect we learned from the last verse. Now in this verse, Sutta Goswami, after narrating, he was in great joy. Firstly, after narrating this entire incident of Narada Muni's success story. Okay, if you from seeing these words and hearing a few lectures, I did realize that he's happy, he's expressing, he's feeling joyful. That's why he says, Aho, all glories to you, O Narada Muni. If you see some 2 points, why is he happy? First and foremost, his own relish when he hears these wonderful life of Narada Muni. Okay, he's relishing the glorification of the Lord and the activities. Now, second one is that he's enlivening the suffering souls, right? Giving relief to the miserable living entities of this universe. To give them this knowledge, to glorify the Lord, will give us actual relish, which is what we are always looking for. Okay, so these two activities makes him, according to Srila Sutta Goswami, very, very happy. So if we also want to be glorious and successful in the true sense in our lives, we can try first of all to strive to relish the Krishna Katha ourselves, right? Problem is being in this conditioned life for many, many years, millions of years, right? Time immemorial, as a stage of sadhaka and trying to relish Krishna Katha. We are in that stage, right? But look at the facilities we have in our own circle. We have this japa session after chanting the holy name, after hearing the holy name for, I don't know, 1 hour, 2 hours, depending on when you logged in. We relish the glories simply by just attending this and hearing the glories from the pages of Bhagavatam. If we are sincerely following the sadhana given by Srila Prabhupada, it is possible for us also to relish the Krishna Katha through this medium, right? So, why? What is that impediment? What keeps us on this material world? Why is that we are not able to relish? So, Srila Rupa Goswami says very nicely in Nectar of Instructions. This is the 7th verse I'm referring to. Satya Krishna Nama Charita Sthitapya Avidya. So finally, the translation goes as the holy name, the character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendental, sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste this anything sweet. It is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. Now, we know that if we go to a doctor and go for one particular, you're getting a boil or whatever, right? And if you just simply take some medicine for a few days, it disappears, but again it will come in. Why? Because you have not actually gone to the root and found out what is the problem. The same way here, Srila Rupa Goswami says the only thing which keeps us in the material world is the ignorance of our actual position. What is that? Being part and parcel of the personality of Godhead. This avidya makes us feel that even the the most relishable thing in the world, avidya makes us feel it bitter, right? So nicely jaundice is given the best example. The sweet sugar candy, normally so sweet, right? It becomes bitter because of the disease condition of the patient. Now similarly, when we are attached to the disease of avidya, we start feeling even the most sweetest pastimes, most nectarian pastimes, most relishable pastimes of Krishna Katha in this world as bitter. You just see ourselves when there is a long class, the moment we see the time, we are not having the taste. We are not having the, oh, it is such a long class, I'll hear it later. Why? Because that avidya is so thickly covered that we end up losing the taste. The mind does not allow us. Yeah, we are all practicing devotees, nice sadhakas. I'm at least talking for myself that we does not allow us to hear it for long. It keeps saying we will keep postpone it, or somehow we'll say hear it later. We move away because we want all those small tidbits, small bites. You're not able to have that taste continuously. So what is the solution? Srila Rupa Goswami says, it's not that he's only given the problem, he's sharing the solutions also. Keep on regularly, constantly exposing ourselves to this process of hearing Krishna Katha, right? The glories of the Lord. Keep hearing, keep on, whenever possible, keep hearing the lectures from senior Vaishnavas and Maharajas. Then what happens? Taste will awaken, right? The analogy is perfect, right? Even a patient who's been advised, a jaundice patient, what happens? Even the sugar candy, what we said, will be bitter for him. But what is the only way? The doctor prescription is keep on eating this, and one day you will be fine. Similarly, acharyas have given us. The acharyas has given us the solutions that we keep on repeatedly, we keep on regularly, keep on exposing ourselves to glories of Krishna Katha in the association of devotees. And one day, we also know for sure, because this is the path of perfection, we naturally, our love for Krishna will also revive, right? There's another very interesting line Srila Prabhupada writes, right? So so mercifully Prabhupada writes, is exposing all of us for this material world. How nicely he writes. No one is happy here within this universe, and what is felt as happiness is Maya's illusion. Okay, so clear, right? So nicely he writes. So if there's another example we often hear from Srila Prabhupada, like a prisoner, one of the punishments which he was is to push him inside water. I mean, practically immerse him or dump him inside the water, right? So after a few minutes, what happens? We all want to gasp for air, right? So obviously in the water, we are not aquatics. So suddenly when you take him out, when he's just going to live the life, he will do this gasping, like when he knows that he's got some air to breathe. Okay, he says this gasping is what is available for us in this material world. Is that gasping which the prisoner feels is what we feel as happiness, right? That is what Srila Prabhupada compares our happiness to. The mind and senses are so uh, strong and continuously harassing is the word, harassing the soul, that the moment the prisoner gets that relief, right? That is the same, the jivatma gets the feeling of, oh, I'm very happy. So imagine how again what happens, the prisoner will be pushed in, right? And again he'll be struggling inside the water. So this is what we get, what we call as uh, the happiness, chapala sukha, flickering happiness, we call it, right? And Srila Prabhupada also mentions here that the very famous example of a hog, right? He says this illusionary energy of the Lord is so strong that even a hog who lives in filthy stools happy, right? So what is generally a stool? We think of stool. I'm sure everyone here wants to run away from that place, right? Hog. What can any stool for that matter, any animal stool. Now imagine hog eats that stool of others, okay, and still very happily living there. Okay, so this happens to every conditioned soul, no matter how opulent position it is. I heard a particular lecture, and there is a reference given there. This happens to be in third chapter, 38th sloka, and the fifth verse. There's a very short purport. I will read it, if possible. Please attentively hear this. This is the condition of living entity to the purport goes, the translation goes like this: the condition of living entity is satisfied in his own particular species of life while deluded by covering influence of illusionary energy. He feels little inclined to cast off his body even in hell, for he takes delight of hellish enjoyment. Now this, you all must have heard about this Indra, right? So this is the most opulent person. Now king of heaven was cursed by spiritual master Brihaspati on account of his misbehavior, and he became a hog in this planet. After many days, when Brahma wanted to recall him to his heavenly kingdom, Indra, in the form of dog, he forgot everything of his royal position in this heavenly kingdom, and he refused to go back. This is a spell of Maya. Indra forgets his heavenly standard of life and is satisfied with the standard of hog's life. By the influence of Maya, the conditioned soul becomes so affectionate towards this particular type of body that if he is offered, give up this body and immediately you have a king's body, he will not agree. This attachment strongly affects all conditioned living entities. Lord Krishna is personally canvassing. Look at this. Give up everything in this material world. Come to me. I shall give you all protection. But we are not agreeable. We think we are all quite all right. Why should we surrender to Krishna and go back to his kingdom? This is called illusion or Maya. Everyone is satisfied with the standard of living, however abominable it may be. So this is what is the position. That's why I said that even though no matter how opulent the position is, Srimad Bhagavatam clearly suggests that we will not willing to give up that position, go back to that. We are conditioning is so much, that avidya is so much that we want to stay in this world. Now here, if you follow the footsteps of, following the footsteps of Narada Muni, okay, no one then he says, he carries, what does he carry? His mission. to get them back home. That is the other point which Suta Goswami was very excited, right? When he said, "Aho," because there were 2 points I mentioned. One, he's happy because he heard himself, he was feeling good, and because he was caring for the suffering souls, he was giving relief for all the miserable entities, right? So, just a moment. So, what now? Following the footsteps of Narada Muni, what was he doing? He was traveling everywhere throughout the world, right? For him, he does, that he doesn't need any, which we have discussed already. He doesn't need any travel restrictions. Nothing is there. He can go anywhere. Now, what a parampara we are in. Look at the started by Krishna himself, right? Our dear Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, what has he done? He's also done exactly the same, following the footsteps of Narada Muni. He did this for not in the prime age. He did this in this evening of years, right? How many times he's traveled around the whole world, right? Now, we know that it is not, it has this parampara, the intense desire to fulfill his spiritual master's instruction. Srila Prabhupada carried this. Now, the same desire, our dear Guru Maharaj, okay, is also doing the same. Look at him. Look at the enthusiasm. He's now at this age, at this bodily condition, carrying on and, giving classes every day. As our leader pointed it out when I was discussing with him, a bandage on the head, a bandage on the nose. But look at the enthusiasm he had when there was a drama being played. Can anyone, we have a small headache. We would like to skip the morning japa or the class or the service given to us. But there they have set up a plan, and they're doing a panihati rehearsal, and how beautiful, wonderful devotees involved. And it was a little bit of live, plus I'm sure it was more than what they had planned. So wonderful was the enthusiasm of our dear Guru Maharaj, Gurudev. So the point we are trying to arrive is that it's such a glorious parampara starting from Krishna himself, that all of us in that parampara thinks that are continuing this wonderful sharing of this, and doesn't stop after having known all this knowledge. It clearly suggests that Krishna would be very, very happy if you share this knowledge to the others, right? So why do we do this? So that naturally we can release the awakening, right, in others also. Srila Prabhupada, it's a mission statement. We always says, right, go back home, back to Godhead, right? So we as sadhakas trying to follow Krishna consciousness, we must assist Krishna himself, and the glorious parampara. Such senior acharyas have come and assisted all the fallen souls. I'm particularly talking about myself. Help regain the connection which we have lost. They have shown such compassion. This compassion is not restricted to India alone, so far and wide. I was saying Prabhupada has traveled 14 times, right? So Srila Prabhupada was relishing Krishna consciousness himself, right? So anyone who came near to Srila Prabhupada, right, immediately got surcharged. Just by coming in touch with this pure devotees, all bad thoughts would run away, right? How strong, I was mentioning that is the intense desire they had to fulfill the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. In fact, in India, I think our Prime Minister had separately made a coin for Srila Prabhupada. That's a kind of contribution he's given. Anyway, he was Srila Prabhupada used to, in fact, if he sees anybody, somebody traveling early in the morning, carrying all his suitcases and going to his work, he used to always feel, oh my God, how can these people are in distress. They're working like a dog. How can I help them? His mood was always, how can I help a distressed person? He always used to write in every letter, right? Ever will wish, right? So Prabhupada used to always mention 3 things required in his quotes. As a practicing sadhaka, if we are finding it difficult to release ourselves, like in many classes you hear, till you go up to, in all our bhakti path till you go up to anartha nivarti and nishta. Till we get there, if we are finding any difficulty, right, in continuing or pursuing Krishna consciousness, you must follow three things, he says in his letters to his disciples. One, we must have enthusiasm, right? And you must be determined too. And the last but not the least, you must have patience, right? Even if one thing is missing, definitely we'll find the process of continuing as a sadhaka and improving our bhakti life to be very, very difficult. So I'm again repeating it. One is enthusiasm. Two, you must be determined. Three is you must have patience. So if we follow this process, this the same, the structure, infrastructure is there, everything else is there, senior Vaishnavas are there. We just have to take inspiration from all of these previous acharyas, previous senior Vaishnavas, and continue with determination. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to say, he used to actually say that, for determination, go and see a karmi. How much is determined to earn something, hardly some small money which can only feed his belly, right? Because if you see these karmis, they are very, very enthusiastic, in earning money. I mean, forget Bangalore, of course, it's all people are sitting in their working as a technology person. But if you really see, if you really travel the Mumbai train, or I had this opportunity to travel from Mumbai to Pune, and it's like packed, generally packed, as they say, it's like just stand there, they push you in, and when you stand out, when you're the destination comes, all you need to just go near the door, they will take you outside. Of course, my watch, bag, everything went away, but that's the kind in that. And I was like cursing my other friend. He had taken me from, I was telling we could have picked or something to reach here, but he said no, it is fun. In that I had seen some vendors, they have this whatever poha, some North Indian, some dishes. Their hand very precariously holding on to one of the railings of the train. They have this huge basket which they are selling. Cursing, everybody is cursing. Why are you coming this side? There's no place and things like that. But still, they keep coming. They keep their so focused to sell their items. Sometimes you feel that they are amazing, so determined they are in ensuring that they want to, we will think who's going to buy in this. There's hardly any space to even stand, and who's going to eat all this. But he keeps on going. So sometimes I now realize when Thakur says you need to learn from karmis, I'm sure maybe this particular point is giving it to all us. We can learn a lot. I mean, through Dhruva Maharaj is another example. 5-year-old kid was doing it. And I've heard Raghunath Das Goswami's vows are very, very strong. So in summary, it's 40. So in summary, we all know that this particular as a sadhaka, we are struggling. But if we follow these things, we also will start enjoying the hearing Krishna Katha, glorifying the Krishna Katha. And somewhere we need to show our sincerity. That is a key. Then you will be awarded the desired result. Will be our Krishna also will award you the desired result. Somehow or the other, he'll lead us to a guru. That is very, very important and that because of the guru and his disciples will sufficiently engage us in Krishna consciousness. Because if we are not sufficiently engaged, if our minds are free, it runs its own agenda. Remember, we all can make a change and become a devotee of the Lord, right? But only thing is we need to work to be sufficiently engaged in devotional service. That is why our leaders keep saying, perform devotional service whenever possible. Then only this avidya will be removed, and only then we will be successful. And after being successful, what it says, following the footsteps of our previous acharya, we cannot keep it to ourselves. We have to then give Krishna consciousness to others. So these are the few points which I could gather from this a small verse. Thank you for this opportunity, Prabhu. And if I made any mistakes, feel free to correct me, and others can add their points or any clarifications on this verse. Hare Krishna. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport for the first canto, 6th chapter on Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Conversation between Narada and Vyasadeva. Congratulations to everybody for having completed the 6th chapter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for your wonderful class. I also wish to congratulate all the participants for having completed 7 chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, sorry, 6 chapters, right?
6th chapter we completed.
We are maybe tomorrow we will enter the 7th chapter. So please take every day this wonderful opportunity. Okay. Bye.